watching Big Lew BBQ and other things I want to do. And today on the show, we're going to do a flat iron and cast iron. Yeah, I'll be using my Field skillet. Really like this skillet. Now, Field Company did send me this last summer in exchange for a review. I did a review and a follow-up review for this skillet. I've also done a few other videos with it. I'll link 2 or 3 of them down below if you want to see others with this skillet. I really like this skillet. Now, I did have the, the other brand, the one that's ubiquitous and all over the country, and I had it for about 15 years. I still have that. That's a nice skillet. But this one is really, really cool, y'all. Now, it doesn't have, everything is well polished and sanded, and it looks nice, and I like the way the sides do. And I just like, this has become my go-to skillet. I will tell you, I don't get anything off of selling Field to you or anything like that. I'll leave a link to Field below. I don't make any money off of Field or selling it to you. You don't have to buy a Field skillet. But I will leave the link below if you're interested in them. And I do thank Field for sending it to me. It's a nice skillet, and I have thoroughly enjoyed using it and definitely become a favorite in the house. So if you're interested in a skillet that starts off with somewhat of a smooth bottom, it's not perfectly smooth when you get it, but it's grooved like an old record, And then as you use it, and mine's gotten pretty smooth as I've used it over the past 6 months. It didn't take a few years like that other brand did because it was rough iron. Anyway, I really like the Field, and it only weighs about 6 pounds compared to the other one, which weighs 8. I'm getting older. I've had elbow surgeries and whatever. I like it, all right? We'll cook a flat iron in this. Now, flat iron is a delicious tasting steak, and it kind of breaks the rule, I don't know if you know this, but there's sort of an unwritten rule about beef and steak, right? And the rule is the more you pay, the less you chew. And the less you pay, well, the more you chew. But with a flat iron, you get a really tender, delicious steak and at a very economical price, okay? And they look about like this. Now, if you're not familiar with a flat iron, it does come from the chuck. It's part of the blade roast, and there's a membrane that goes through it, and you cut one top off the membrane, cut the other top off, and you've got a flat iron steak. If they cut the roast perpendicular to the grain, which is traditionally the definition of steak, it's called a blade steak. I do have a great blade steak video. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave it down below too. But it's basically the same cut of meat you get from a blade steak. And it's not technically a steak because it's not cut across the grain. All right, but anyway, we're gonna cook it like a steak. Now, I'm gonna use probably my favorite steak seasoning on it, Dr. Door's coffee rub. This goes a lot on other things too, but I really like the coffee rub on steak. I like a lot of different steak seasonings, and I have a lot. And a couple seasoning producers, Dr. Door's and another one, they send me rubs and seasonings all the time. But I really like this, so I've got my choice, okay? But I like this. I like Dr. Door's coffee rub. So we're gonna put this on there, put some butter in there. I'm gonna do some peppers and onions as well. I got, a bell pepper. We're gonna slice up, got a white onion, we're gonna slice up, and we're gonna cook some peppers and onions in the Field skillet too. So stay with me, it's been a long intro, almost 4 minutes, and let's get this flat iron done and cast iron. Well, all right, here's my flat iron steak, and I took the meat diaper out from underneath this styrofoam polystyrene package. It doesn't have a whole lot of trimming or something to do. Sometimes there might be some fat. There's a little membrane right there, but I think I'm just gonna cook that on there. It's not worth trimming off. So anyway, all I gotta do really is, I didn't mean to move it out of the camera, y'all, is just season it with some Worcestershire sauce. I pronounce it Worcestershire, and I've got the authority to do so because my grandfather was from England. Worcestershire. I mean, nobody says New Hampshire, so why would you say Worcestershire? I don't care how you pronounce it. You pronounce it you. You do you. If it's your Worcestershire, it's your baby, you spank it. And this steak is my baby, and I'm gonna spank it, all right? And I'm gonna put Worcestershire sauce on it. Just rub it all in there like that, because I like Worcestershire sauce on a steak. And as you can see, like a skirt steak or a flank steak, it's not cut across the grain, so it kind of, defeats the purpose. Now I got a little bit of the coffee rub in here, and that's probably not going to be enough because I'm going to want a lot of it. So I do have this new pack right here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Probably use up all of this that's in this pack. I absolutely love Dr. Door's coffee rub. Well, hold on, I gotta get it open. If I got a criticism about Dr. Door's, it's how hard it is to open the little Ziploc bags with the gloves on. But other than that, I really don't have any criticism for Dr. Door's stuff. Her stuff is absolutely good. I like to call it like this, Dr. Door's, all right? I might have just enough. And, you know what? As good as that rub is, I want a little bit more. But you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do that. Hold on. All right, I need a little bit more rub than what was in that coffee rub pack. And I've got a whole new thing of coffee rub here that I could open, but I'm not gonna open it yet because I got some local cocoa that's opened, all right? And this stuff is also good. This is got cocoa powder in it, and I'm gonna mix that with the coffee rub, and I think that might make this a good steak. I've never put the local cocoa on steak before. It's good though. It's good on chicken too, man. The local cocoa is very good on chicken. And I've done it on chuck roast. My goodness. Like chuck roast, and you pull it like a pulled beef or chopped beef like a brisket. And it's really good. I like the local cocoa, or chuck roast just in a crock pot or something like that. I like the local cocoa. All right, so I got the local cocoa and the coffee rub on this steak. We're gonna let it sit to the side. I'm gonna chop up the onion, chop up the bell pepper, and we'll get to cook it in that field skillet. Got an onion, got a bell pepper, got a Big Lew BBQ silver stag knife, and I like this knife too. Watch what happens with this knife. All right, got it all cut up. And I didn't show you me cutting it up because I didn't want you to see me cry on camera. I was chopping onions, slicing onions. All right, let's get to cooking. You know what? I decided I'm gonna add something to this. I got some guajillo chilies. Now these are dried chilies, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it open and empty the seeds out, okay, like this, and just get rid of the seeds and any seeds that are in there. They all poured out, so there's no seeds. And then I'm gonna slice it up, julienne style, like this. And I'm gonna soak it in some hot water until we get to go cooking and sort of rehydrate it a little bit. And I'm gonna saute it with the onions and peppers. Give a little more spice to my steak, all right? And it's totally optional, and you may not have guajillo chilies on hand or whatever. And but as long as I got them, I'm gonna use them, right? So anyway, I'm gonna soak this in some hot water, some warm water, and when we get to frying this in a minute, we'll throw these in there too. All right, now this field skillet is heating up on number 7, and what I'm gonna do is add cooking grade olive oil, not extra virgin. I have extra virgin, but I don't like to saute and stuff in extra virgin. Extra virgin has a lot of fibers in it that burn, can give off flavors. I like to use cooking grade olive oil when I saute. Grapeseed oil is a good choice. Coconut oil is a good choice. Whatever kind of oil you want, you could do ghee. You want to do ghee? Ghee's great. Make you some ghee. That's a clarified butter for those that don't know. All right, so we're gonna get that oil heating up. We're gonna dump in the peppers. The oil's been heating up. Let's start getting these peppers and onions seasoned up. All right, we'll stir them all around. Get them coated in that oil. Get them kind of fried down, sizzled down here. Don't you just love the smell of it? Now, what we're gonna do is, well, I gotta find my dang pepper. I'm gonna add a little bit of pink Himalayan salt. Yep, this is Himalayan salt. It means it comes from the Himalayas. That's different than Himalayan possum. I like to eat Himalayan possum too, because I found Himalayan on the road. That's pepper, all right? Cole and Mason pepper shakers. Give it to me by the Benny stub. I like them. I like these pepper grinders, salt grinders, not shakers, grinders. All right, keep stirring these around. You know how to do that. About time to add in the guajillo and another secret ingredient I got. All right, this guajillo has been sitting in here for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and it's kind of taking the leathery texture out of that dried pepper. And I'm just gonna, that water's kind of turned the color there. I want that in there. It's gonna sizzle, but I want the flavor in there. The water's gonna steam out, but the flavor's gonna stay down there. I'm gonna stir that in there too. Just get these peppers and onions. You know, it's just bell pepper, real mild, but the guajillo is going to give it a little bit of kick. Not a lot. They're not real spicy. That's the kind of pepper they often make chili powder out of, or added chili powders, you know. We also use ancho peppers and stuff like that, but that guajillo is going to be really, really good mixed in this pepper mixture. All right, and for the next one, I've got canned mushrooms. These are fresh mushrooms, fresh from the can. All right, yep. If I had fresh mushrooms, I would have put them in right at the beginning with the peppers, but or right towards the beginning with the peppers. But I add them now when these peppers are about, and the onions are about 2/3 cooked the way I want them. And this is just going to be served on the side or on top of the flat iron steak. Okay. While you weren't looking, I added a little bit more salt and pepper because I just thought it needed it. And these are getting real soft. The onions are getting translucent. The peppers are getting, you know, losing their firmness there, crunchiness. And I'm going to leave them in here. They're not nearly done yet, but they're going to be in here while the steak cooks. And I'll stir them around a little bit. But what I'm going to do is push them over to the side of this filled skillet right here. This is number 12, or 12-inch filled skillet. Number 10 is a 12-inch, number 10 skillet. And so if you've got a smaller skillet, you may need to take them out when you cook the steak, but I like to just leave them in there and let them sit there and cook while this steak cooks. And now that they're over there, I'm gonna add about a tablespoon or so of butter, you know, and we're gonna get that butter all in, especially this part of the skillet where we're gonna cook the steak. Now I don't want that butter to burn. And as it cooks, I'm going to add a little bit of herbe de Provence. Provence herbs. Yeah, Provence herbs. That would be English, all right? This is a French herb blend. If you wanted to, you could use an Italian herb blend. That would be just fine too, whatever you wanted to do. But I like the way these do. If you've got fresh herbs, like rosemary and stuff, use that. I'm just a single dad trying to cook for my son and I don't have any fresh herbs on hand tonight. So we're gonna put that butter right there, and time to drop this steak in here with the coffee rub from Dr. Doors. Just down, just like that. We're gonna let it sizzle and sear on that side. And we've got a good, strong, medium heat, not a high heat, but a medium heat. You can hear it, you can see it, and my goodness, it smells good already. While that sears, I want to put this handle right here over the, that's hot, man. Woo! Got it on there. Now I can hold this skillet with that leather handle and move it around a little bit on my stove when I need to. All right, now I'm letting this sit for about 4 minutes on that side, and it's about 2 minutes in, and I'm gonna go ahead and stir these peppers around, get the bottom ones on the top and the top ones on the bottom. That's why I needed this handle on there, so I can hold the skillet while I do that. And just gonna let that steak just sit there and sizzle. About 4 minutes on this side. I'm probably gonna go 2.5, 3 minutes on the other. I'm cooking it to about, you know, a medium rare. I'm looking for about 135 or so. I like a medium steak. My son likes a medium rare to rare steak. I used to eat rare steak, but as I got older, I tend more toward the medium. I'll even go a medium well. I won't judge anybody for the way they like their steak. Hey, if you want a well-done steak, you do you. Your steak is your steak, your baby, you spank it. You want it rare, do rare. All right, but I'm probably going to try for a medium. As I've gotten older, starting to prefer medium over medium rare. I've always eaten medium rare for the last 2 decades though, but getting to where I like medium better. All right, let it cook for another 1.5 minutes. We're gonna flip it over. All right, it's been about 4 minutes. I'm starting to see blood pool up on the side of this steak here. Doesn't do it like it does like on a steak that's cross-grain cut, but it does do it. And this is getting into the 100s or close to the 100s, you know, 112, 110. So it's time to flip this steak over and sear this other side. Not quite the crust I was looking for, but it's close. And we're gonna let that one go just like that as well. Go ahead and flip these onions and peppers over and get the bottom on the top and the top on the bottom because they're continuing to cook as this steak gets done. All right. Beef, I like mine medium rare to medium. Medium well is a little too much for me. And that's about 135 is what I like my steak at. So we're not quite there yet. 117, 128. Ooh, that one's close right there at that side. So maybe pulling this out. Yeah, 136. I think it's about where I want it. I'm gonna flip it over real quick. Show you what that side looks like. It's real steaming right here. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it over here on the cutting board, and we'll cut it up, show you what this steak looks like. All right, got this beautiful PBW Woodworks cutting board. Gonna put the steak down just like that. All right, and I'm gonna get these peppers out of here, and I'm gonna put those on the cutting board too. Why not? Just right like that. Get them out of the pan. They're done. I'm gonna serve this on top of the steak. All right, now that I've got the peppers, onions, and mushrooms out, and you can see these are done the way they're supposed to be now, because I started the steak long before they were supposed to be done. And you can see that's where I cooked the steak at. That's where we cooked the peppers at. This filled skillet will clean up nicely, and Field sent me some chainmail for it that really works well. So anyway, set that over here on the side. And we've got flat iron in cast iron. Let's get it cut up. All right, well, the dog decided to lap up the water as we turn on the camera, but it's time to cut this. We let it rest for about 5 minutes. Go ahead and just cut it right through the center so you see what we're doing here. Look what we're working with. We got a medium rare, beautiful medium rare on that. And it's a little less than I want, but it's edible and I'm ready to eat it. It said it was at 135, so we're gonna go ahead and cut this just like this. See, the sides are done well, so it's gonna be a good steak. We're gonna cut it up and eat it. Well, it's a little bit too rare for me, but it's all right. I got it back in a skillet over there, you know, just do it like that. The problem with a flat iron steak, it's not the even thickness all the way around because it's cut with the grain and not across the grain. So therefore, like this part right here, that's good medium, but then it's, you know, a little rare right there. But I'm going to go ahead and eat this because it was all at 130. And you know what? That is really good. That Dr. Door's coffee rub, that's good stuff. Now I'm gonna cook those others just a little bit longer, top it with the peppers, and we're gonna have flat iron steak. So if you cut it open and it's too rare for you, throw it back in the skillet. Not a big deal. All right, so I'll put the pieces back in. I'm still saying 126 right there, so that's still rare. No, it's not 144 right there, so still rare a little bit in the center. These pieces are gonna be good. I'm gonna flip them over and get a sear on the side too if you want. All right, so we cooked them a little bit longer, and because I thought it was at 135, but the edges and the thinner places were, but the thick places were still around 125 when I pulled it out, and it's a little too rare. But I ate that rare piece, but this we want to cut open. So let me cut it open and I'll show you what we got. Oh yeah, now that is about what I like. That's a medium rare. That's what I like. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna eat that, eat these onions. You want some tortillas, bread, sandwich meat, whatever, French bread, whatever you want to serve with it, whatever sides you like as well. Anyway, we're gonna enjoy this steak. All right, do the steak the way you want to. And a steak is rare at about 125 to 130-ish. Medium to 135 to, you know, 145. I like around 135, 140 maybe. And I pulled it when some were saying 135, but some were still in around 130, and it was a little too rare for me. But I ate that part anyway. If you like it rare, do rare. All right, so anyway, this one's medium, about the way I like them nowadays. I used to eat them rare. I did. When I was younger, I ate them rare. I used to be, you know, just knock the horns off guy, you know? So, but anyway, I don't like it rare, quite as rare as in my older age. So I like this medium right here. And yeah, it's fantastic, man. Flat iron is a tender steak at an economical price. Wonderful. If you never saw my blade steak video, I'd suggest you watch that too. Same cut of meat, just cut across the grain. Dr. Door! That coffee rub, and then with the Coco Loco, I like that, or Loco Coco as she calls it. I really like that. I love that coffee rub. That's become my favorite steak seasoning. It really has. I absolutely love the coffee rub. Anyway, thanks you very much for watching Big Lew BBQ.